Once upon a time, a city girl named Felicity and a city boy named Peter bought an abandoned 1830s farmhouse in New York. And in early December, on December 7th, 2024 to be precise, we are out here digging a ditch. Well, I say we. James's crew is out here digging the ditch. The project for the last week has been getting the electrical work done. As those of you who have been following the channel for a while will know, this whole project has basically been a series of, well, the focus is this, and then that project is done, and the focus is this, and then that project is done. Since we finished the painting 6 days ago, the focus has been the electrics. There's been a lot of work done inside, but it's not really anything I can show you guys because it's not really interesting. It's just a lot of wire run through the walls, and since it's run through the walls, there's not a whole lot to see. I will take you inside in a little bit and show you a couple of pieces, but this, honestly, this Ditch Witch, this is the most exciting thing that's happened in 6 days. So I wanted to give you a little bit of work footage. This is a Saturday, and it's one of the first days that we had snow on the ground, so you can see snow falling in the background. It was chilly, definitely. Everybody was wearing their outdoor winter work gear, and it's kind of amazing that we got this Ditch Witch. So a couple of things went into getting to this point in the 6 days since I have seen you last. One of those things is that we wanted to be absolutely certain that we were digging this ditch to connect the power line from the pole to the house according to all of the regulations and requirements and all that stuff. And so it took us a little while to find somebody at the electric company who could verify that information for us. His name is Roy. He's an engineer. He's fantastic. And Tyler, who helped connect us with him, also fantastic. So that took, actually we started that process before Thanksgiving, and that took a couple weeks to get a hold of Roy and go through the system and put in a work order, you know, all that bureaucratic stuff. So we did that. And then getting this skid steer turned out to be quite an adventure. They had reserved one with a Ditch Witch on front, and when they showed up this morning to go pick it up, the team that was unloading it from the company that they were renting from mangled the lines when they were unloading it, and it was unusable. So they had to call around and see if anybody else had one. Of course, it's a Saturday in New York, so these places are only open, you know, a half day or something like that. But they were able to find another one. They were able to get there about an hour before they closed, and happily James double-checked to make sure that the Ditch Witch attachment on the front would fit his skid steer, because it turns out it wasn't the right size attachment. So after all of that shenanigans, we showed up at about 1 o'clock to see. I've never seen a Ditch Witch in action. I know about them. I think the name of them is really cool, but I've never actually seen one in person. So please enjoy watching the Ditch Witch in action. So this is our new fancy pedestal. James just built this for us yesterday. This is where the smart meter is going to go from the pole behind us here. And then, what did you say this was, just this wire piping here? Do we dig it 8 feet down? So it turns out that pole that you see sticking out maybe a foot from the ground was actually something like an 8-foot tall pole, and they couldn't figure out how to remove it. They didn't know what it was, so they actually just pounded it down into the ground so that it isn't, you know, causing a problem or up in the air. It occurred to me at this point, before I take you inside and show you some of the electrical work that's been done inside, that I should explain why we're burying the line, because I think I forgot to do that. So the reason we're burying the line is because we want to keep it safe from the tree. We want to keep it just safe in general underground. And the reason that we're having it upgraded, which is also part of the process, we were having it upgraded because the line that was attached to the house above ground was not the right, I think it's amperage, to put in solar or any other kind of off-grid electricity in future. And so we needed basically a thicker, stronger line. And so we thought, well, if we're going to have to upgrade the line anyway, we would like to have it buried. That way it doesn't catch on anything. You know, there's a lot of trees in the area. There's some windstorms. There's snow. Let's just put it underground. Having come from Tulsa for the last 4 years where nothing is buried, we have a new appreciation for buried power lines. And so and also we have to dig a trench to put in the internet line, excuse me. And so we thought, well, if we have to dig a trench anyway to put in the internet line, let us also dig a trench, the same trench, in fact, and put in the electrical. So that is why we are doing a trench and not just having them reconnect it above ground. So with that said, let's go inside, and I want to show you a couple of updates that you can actually see from the electrical work that they've been doing inside the house. So this is the ceiling of the great room, which they've been opening up to do the electrical work, and it looks very like the ceiling that was previously open in the sitting room. I'm curious. So one of the things we noticed in the sitting room is that the beams are varying widths and varying distances from each other. So the question is that true here as well? No. Here, they are much more uniform in distance from each other, although, and most of what we can see is this width, which is your kind of modern 2x4 width. But that's chunky, and then there's a big, one of the big beams going through here. So yes, also some variable construction in here, and then with the lath and plaster guides. And then that is the floor, underside of the floor of our bedroom. So Louie's been working on the electric in here. Just stepped out, so I'm able to show you this is what it looks like when the electric is in process. Which is partly why I haven't filmed this before. So we don't really do unboxings very often here, but you guys, the saga of these locks is absolutely wild. So Peter did a lot of research on what kind of locks we wanted to put on our new doors. And we wanted to get ones that had keypads on them because Peter and I have lost keys before and we just like the keypad system better. So Peter did a ton of research on keypad locks that were within our budget and actually worth the money. And there's basically only one company that does them. They're called Yale. And we put this order in like the middle of September, and we wanted it like right at the end of September because we thought that's when the doors were going to go in. It is now the middle of December, and we just got these in the mail last week. So it turns out that behind the scenes, Yale merged with another company. They had some inventory problems. Their customer support team actually went to bat for us and did a lot of research to figure out what was going on with our order. And at the end of the day, it turns out they don't currently have these in stock, but Amazon did have them in stock. So 2 months in the making, several emails and phone calls, and we're going to open these bad boys and see if it's worth the wait. So the obligatory instruction sheet. Ooh, we can control them with an app on the smartphone. You didn't tell me that. That's schwanky. Mm-hmm. Okay, so their instructions are download the app, install the hardware, no additional instructions included, add to your smart home. So hopefully you know how to install these because they're not going to tell you. So there's 2 boxes in here. This box is quite heavy. Okay, so this is the actual... let's get started. And it comes in French. Commençons. So here she is. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba! A door lock! It smells like Lowe's. You know that like industrial plasticky smell? That is what it smells like. So this is the lock itself. It's going to have a battery operated power source, and also we wanted one that had a key on it, so in case the batteries died, we didn't get locked out of our house. This was actually half of the problem. Getting them with lock keys on them is not normal, and originally we wanted them to all be keyed the same way so we could have one key for all the doors. That turned out not to be possible, so we're going to have a different key for every door. But at least we have a backup option in case the the keypad stops working entirely. So there's also, oh, they even sent batteries to go with it. So that's what this is. This is the unit itself. And then what is this big box next to it? This is a door handle? Why does it come with a door handle?
It's the full hardware.
Right, but are we using the door handle?
Yes.
Aren't the doors we are buying come with door handles?
They're blanks.
Oh. Okay, and then underneath. Alright, so door handle. And I'm assuming what's underneath here is the hardware. Yale. I assume this is the hardware for the door handle. There's two boxes that are this size. Yes. Ah, this actually has instructions on how to mount the door handle on the door. Hooray! So this is the part that goes on the inside of the door. That's where it connects to the lock. And then that'll be the inside. And then the other thing that's in this box, I said there were two of these boxes. The other box has the deadbolt hardware, and then the knob that goes on the other side of it is also in here. So we just wanted to make sure all the parts were here so that we can close the loop with the Yale customer support team who tipped us off to Amazon in the first place. But we thought, oh, let's just open these and double check before we triumphantly bring these to James and tell them they're ready to install. I didn't realize, you guys probably did, that doors don't come with knobs. I thought they just came with a knob, and then if you wanted a different knob, you got a different knob, but apparently they don't. Apparently they don't come with any knobs whatsoever, so you can choose your own, which I guess makes sense. Just didn't occur to me. So those are all the updates I have for you today, except for one more, I suppose, which is that this electrical work is really pushing the wire on this project. No lie, Peter and I are pretty nervous just about the timelines, because we've come to a point where without heat in the house, which is electric, right? The mini splits are electric. Without heat in the house, we can't move ahead on any of the final projects that are needed to be move-in ready. Mostly the plumbing, right? You can't have plumbing in your house unless the plumbing has heat or the plumbing has been winterized. So that means we can't work on the bathroom and we can't work on the kitchen plumbing until we have heat to keep those pipes from freezing. So that's one thing. The other piece is financial. Because of the way the draws work with the bank, we can't release the money for the electric until the electric is finished, and we can't have them turn the electric on, the power company turn the electric on until some inspections have been done. So what happens next? They finish the trench that we saw in process today. An inspector is coming out on Monday. Actually, two inspectors. One of the inspectors is coming out from NYSEG, which is our electric utility, just to double check and make sure that everything's up to their specs. And then we also have a licensed electrical inspector coming out who will do two things. He will inspect the line itself, and if that is approved, he will submit his report to the electric company, and at that point, the electric company puts us in the queue to turn the power back on, because the power is currently turned off at the pole. And then that same electrical inspector will also inspect the rough-in of the interior work, and the rough-in basically says, are all of the wires in the right place? Do all the circuits look good? The switches don't have to be on. You don't necessarily have to have outlet plates on, all those kind of finishing things, but the rough-in is your system sound? Is anything going to go wonky? So those are both scheduled for Monday, which is 2 days from now. So keep your fingers crossed for us that those go as quickly as possible. And then if you would, please, 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 your best wishes and your speediest thoughts to the electric company, because we're in a time of year that the electric company can be pulled away for weather-related emergencies. It could take anywhere from 5 days to 4 weeks for them to be able to come out and turn our power back on, and we substantially cannot move forward on any of the projects without electric. So if we aren't able to get in their queue quickly, we lose any chance we had of being able to move into this house by the end of the month. So Please keep us in your good thoughts, and I will let you know how the Monday inspection goes and how it all unfolds. Thank you very much for being here. As always, I deeply appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you soon in my next video. Bye for now.